All right, hello everybody, and welcome to my podcast and recap of my interview with Chris Self and his work in the fountain machine installation services, and his history and suggestions for the job and what his day-to-day life looks like. There's a lot of things we got into in this interview, and I'm going to kind of recap it a little bit. Interview lasted right around 20 minutes, and I think I ended up asking like 10 questions, Chris, and got very insightful answers for all of them. I'd love to just read the transcript and go over everything he said, but I think what I'm first going to do is go over the AI generated summary of the interview, which I plugged the transcript into. So let's give this a little read. Um, but yeah, starting this interview off, we of course got our introductions in. Um, and about his day-to-day life, he described it was a mix of service calls, preventing, um, needing to come back in the future, maintenance, stuff like that, problem solving through troubleshooting and stuff like that, and equipment installation. He explained that customers often report a machine as just broken, and this was one of the most frustrating things for him, because something being broken can have lots of different meanings, lots of different severities. Something could be wrong, and it could be as simple as it's not plugged in versus real electrical problems on the interior side that would take a lot longer. So that was one of the frustrating things is you kind of arrive on every scene not really knowing exactly what the problem is and what it has in store for you. But he thought this was fun and he thought it kept it, you know, from getting repetitive every single day and doing the same exact things every single day. Um, and so that was kind of his day to day. Then we asked him about um just kind of when he entered. He said his main way of learning when he first got into the industry was through hands-on experience. And he described how he had worked with, um, you know, experienced servicemen and went on calls with them and would go and eventually at first he would just watch, not really say anything, but eventually got into, kind of hands-on doing some of the smaller things and then eventually taking over the bigger things. And now he had younger people watching him, and he remembered when that was him. So he made sure to try and, um, be the best teacher that he could. But yeah, he just could not mention enough the importance of hands-on experience. Pretty much every single question, he in some way mentioned how hands-on experience is the best way to learn. You aren't going to be able to do many things until you have that hands-on experience and that knowledge in the industry and in the field. Moving on, some of the challenges in the industry. Um, One thing I asked him about was technology and if he had any concerns of that, and with AI potentially taking his job. He said there was no concerns at all, and that he was confident AI could not do his job, at least now until they had physical bodies. But he's not really worried about that aspect, and technology really doesn't influence his field very much because, um, besides the machines getting more technically advanced, which he mentioned he didn't like with some of these new touchscreen models, but the tools and the processes stay relatively the same, and they have for many years. Obviously, you'll get the nicer tool here and there, the better handled, more sturdy option, but technology really doesn't play too big of a role in his job. Um, so yeah, weighing some of the challenges versus some of the positive aspects of the field. For the challenges, he said machines often break at inconvenient times. The summer periods are when things or sodas are the most in demand. Um, Lunch rushes, people are snappy, people can sometimes take it out on the servicemen when a machine is down, which Chris said was one of the most annoying parts of dealing with his job is some of these customers just blame him for the machine being down, while he's just simply there trying to fix it. And yeah, um, the customer or the owner of the gas stations are losing money constantly, for every second that that machine is down. So the pressure of getting that machine right and making sure it stays right for a long time can sometimes, be pretty heavy, um, because there's someone losing money on how long you take to do your job. So there's always going to be tension when those kind of things happen. But some of the positive things was that all the different skills he learned from installing and repairing these machines. I mean, there's so many different things that go into it. Refrigeration, CO2, water lines, the syrup lines themselves, pumps, um, so many mechanical aspects, or electrical aspects as well. So getting kind of a little bit of each of these kind of different fields and, just expanding your knowledge. Through doing one thing, you're kind of learning so many different things. And Chris said that was also one of the best things is he could continue to improve the knowledge he had on some of these other things while improving the knowledge overall on, you know, about machines. So I thought that was really cool, and handy and just another benefit to this job. So closing out our interview, I asked him for some advice and on someone who's getting started in the industry should do. And what he said was newcomers shouldn't rush and be so hard on themselves if learning took time. He said that was something he wished he changed. He was so hard on himself, when he was learning and things weren't taking or were taking a long time, or he wanted to move on to the bigger things, he wanted to move on to the harder challenges, but he was stuck doing some of the simpler tasks for quite some time. But he said he didn't realize he appreciated how much, time he got at some of the simple things, because getting really good at the simple things helped him later on with learning the harder things, because he was already so good at those smaller things, he could just focus on learning the harder things. And I thought that was really insightful and just, kind of eye opening to just be grateful for all your opportunities. And any situation to learn is a situation to learn. If that's something that you've already learned before, then practice will make anybody better at anything. That's just how it works. But yeah, that concludes my interview with Chris. I learned a lot about the industry. I learned a lot of things I hadn't considered before when first picking this, career path for my project. But I'm really grateful, that I was fortunate enough to get all this insight from him, and just kind of, lots of advice for starting out, which is extremely helpful for me. And, not only mistakes to avoid, not so much mistakes to avoid, but rather just be patient. And like I mentioned, he's talked about hands-on experience being the most important thing so many times, and just being grateful for that hands-on experience. And if it's the same thing over and over again, well, you're practicing and getting better at that same thing. So later on, you're not even gonna have to think about it. You're so good at that small, simple thing when there's someone else out there just learning it. I thought that was pretty cool to hear from someone who had been on both sides of that. But that is my overview and recap of the interview with Chris. I again appreciate him for taking the time, and I appreciate you all listening to me talk about um, this career path and my interest in it. And thank you all very much.